Mark Waid and Dan Mora put the newest addition to the world's finest on the ropes as the young new hero helps Batman and Superman battle the Key, who has taken over Gotham and all its people hostage with a phobia-inducing gas. Mark Waid continues along with the story of David, the superpowered being from another Earth who has arrived on Earth Zero and is stranded, with this issue being all about teaching David the ropes and ins and outs of superheroing. Again, because Robin and Supergirl are both third and fourth lead of the book, Waid does this really interesting thing where Batman and Superman teach David the more traditional hero things like how to save someone from a volcano and all this sort of stuff, fires and all that. It's Supergirl who teaches him why they fight and help people, relating it back to her own arrival on Earth as a teenager and how she felt being the only survivor of Argo City, much like how David is the survivor of his Earth. This leads to a really small reveal that maybe David isn't telling the heroes everything he should, and maybe he's responsible for his planet's destruction. And seeing this story is set in the past, I'm interested to see where David is now in the current timeline of the DCU and what has happened to him. As for villains, the Key is turning out to be a really interesting one, especially with his plans involving giving people different phobias to cause chaos through Gotham and demand they pay him billions of dollars to stop it. It's so much more fun and creative than comparing it to the usual bomb in the middle of the city plots that you usually get. And of course, the Joker is now involved, and considering we haven't seen the Joker in quite some time in these main Batman or Superman books, really since Joker War, it's going to be interesting to see him get back involved with these stories and get to fight Batman again. Dan Mora continues to provide some of the best superhero comic book art out at the moment, covering each page in lots of action and bright colours and continuing the Saturday morning cartoon feel of the series, with set pieces that all feel very classic superheroics, like Superman stopping the volcano and helping people in fires and ripping buildings open to get people free and all that sort of stuff. It's all classic superhero Saturday morning cartoon stuff that you'd see in the Batman and Superman animated series, and it being brought to life on these comic pages is pretty cool. Batman Superman World's Finest Issue 8 continues to flesh out the new addition to the World's Finest and dive a little deeper into his story, all while continuing the exciting Saturday morning cartoon feel the series has been excelling at greatly since issue 1. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Batman Superman World's Finest Issue 8 finds David hanging out with the Teen Titans, who goad him into letting Speedy fire a boxing glove arrow at him. David's powers cause a huge explosion and thunderclap when the arrow hits him, but it dies down quick with no one hurt. Donna knows that he's getting more control over his hot flashes, but the sound was deafening. Robin thinks that that's just a side effect, as he is superheating the air around him for a split second and it's causing the thunderclap. Speedy thinks his name should be Boy Thunder, but Robin thinks that's very close to trademark infringement on his part. David wonders if this makes him a Teen Titan, but Robin wants him just to take baby steps at first, as Donna pulls Dick away, asking if he's sure about taking this kid under his wing, since while he seems stable enough, something about him feels really off to her. Later in Costa Rica, Superman deals with an erupting volcano as David shares his excitement of being on an Earth that has real-life superheroes, since on his Earth they're all just in comic books. Superman reminds him that he should start wearing his mask, since if he exposes his secret identity, he'll never have a private life again. David knows that Superman doesn't wear one, but the hero tells him that he takes other steps to secure his identity, and if he gives people the slightest reason not to trust him, which wearing a mask would do, they will fear him instead. David unleashes a thunderclap to help seal the volcano, impressing Superman as he asks if the hero has a private life at all. Superman wants to table that talk since he wants to set up David's private life. Later on, Supergirl sarcastically suggests sending the boy to an orphanage as Clark's communicator goes off, with Batman calling to tell Superman that the Key is broadcasting across all major media outlets in Gotham. Batman sends Superman the message, which reveals the Key has made everyone in Gotham experience entomophobia, the fear of open spaces or confining spaces, meaning elevators are trapped full of panicked people who can't leave, medical staff refuse to enter the small hospital rooms, and police are helpless, locked inside their own vehicles and precincts. The villain demands $5 billion in untraceable money and he'll unlock all of the doors. Superman and David race to Gotham as Clark fills David in on who the Key is and how he traffics psychotropic drugs, making him think that this was some widespread aerosol blanket on Gotham. Batman is still looking into an antidote as he sends Clark to the most urgent crises, but they can't join the Man of Steel since he and Robin are victims of the gas as well. They're locked in the Batcave. Superman gets to work helping a bleeding woman out in the back of an ambulance as he tells David to get the patients to the ER and to force them into the hospital if he has to. Batman reveals that he's called in backup as Supergirl is inside the hospital and is cutting the walls of the rooms down so the doctors can access the rooms without panic. Superman heads off to deal with some really bad fires and David wants to come with him, but Batman tells the boy to head due west and to stop when he says so. Robin wants one of them to swing by and drag them out of the cave so they can get to work, but Batman reminds him that they are busy hunting the key, following the villain's electronic trail via the Batcomputer. David soon reaches a coal mine as Batman directs him to enter the mine and help the people, since all he needs to do is throw a switch at a door and free the miners before the building up methane gas kills them. David finds it and pulls the switch, but nothing happens. Batman tells the boy to use his heat powers to slice open the lock, but he'll need to be very controlled with it, since if he isn't, he could detonate the methane gas and kill himself and the miners. David wants Superman to come and help, but Batman tells him that Superman and Supergirl are busy handling the fires elsewhere, and even they can't be everywhere all at once. Batman assures the boy that he won't lose concentration and he can do this, so David gets to work, focusing his power down to the size of a scalp, but he still believes he can't do it, speeding away from the mine as he apologizes to the heroes. Superman spots what is happening with his telescopic vision, saying he will be there as quick as he can. David meanwhile hides under a tree, remembering what happened to his homeworld and how he also ran from helping people in need, and he did nothing and people died. Donning his mask, David speeds back into the mine as Superman arrives, finding the boy has gotten everyone out safe and sound. Superman asks what's next and is directed towards the subway and elevators of Gotham, since it will be all over soon, since Batman has had someone working on an antidote. Robin gleefully asks if he can tell Superman, telling the Man of Steel to look up into the sky as Blue Beetle and Bug descend on Gotham, dispersing the antidote. Ted compliments Bruce on his chemist notes as the world's finest track the key to a warehouse, but Superman can't see inside thanks to the lead shielding. Inside they find lab equipment and a giant vault with a key in front of it. Batman warns his friend to be ready for anything as they enter the vault, but find nothing but a twirling void. Later on, the heroes return to the Batcave without the key, who manage to escape them. Batman knows they will find him, asking if Supergirl apologized to Robin, but Dick knows that she will, not really wanting to go near her, but Batman jokes about Dick asking the Kryptonian out for Saturday night. Superman meanwhile is proud of what David did going back into the mine, but David doesn't think it matters when he dies. Supergirl decides to handle this, revealing that she is from a place called Argo City, which withstood Krypton's explosion and drifted into space, but soon a meteor storm eventually wiped out the city and her parents just barely managed to get her rocket alone off of the planet. She knows that Kal was too young to remember Krypton, but she was 15 when it exploded, so she went through survivor's guilt, which is a natural reaction to trauma, and she felt like she didn't deserve surviving when everyone else died, but it also motivated her to save people, but it also made her feel very angry at all the unfairness of it all, but she packed it down since she wanted to be like her cousin, but doing so gave her a self-destructive streak that she hid as courage. She tells David that she's always there to talk to him if he needs it, but he needs to know that there is nothing he could have done to save his world and what happened was not his fault. David, however, thinks that it was his fault as he remembers him exploding, but he tells Kara that she is right, as elsewhere the key returns to his master, telling them that he didn't expect Superman and his new sidekick to get involved. The key's master, the Joker, is happy to hear about a new sidekick on the scene since they are always so very delicate.